Seeing my 20F, FWB, 36M, for the first time in 4 months, he did not disappoint, actually. I've never written a story like this before, so I hope I do this okay. I haven't told any of my friends about this guy, and I really wanted to share this with someone. Last year, school year, I met this older guy. I was 19 and he was 35. He is tall, strong, handsome, very SI, and recently divorced. We had instant chemistry, and for months he effed me better than I ever knew was possible. That came to an abrupt halt when the school year ended and I had to move back home for the summer. 3 agonizing sexless months later I finally got back to school, but he was too busy to meet up right away. I had to wait another 4 weeks to see him. I kept up with a few guys at school in the meantime, but they were just okay and it didn't come close to what I needed. And then we finally got to see each other last weekend. To help you paint a picture, I'm 20, short, brunette with wavy hair that goes below my shoulders, brown eyes, C-cup, slim athletic body, toned muscle, with a nice round butt that looks great in yoga pants and guys seem to really love. He's tall, broad shoulders, striking blue eyes, big smile, strong jawline, brown hair, a trimmed beard. His hair has a slight speckle of gray throughout, but otherwise he looks young. He's muscular and very cute. I never thought I'd be into a guy this much older, but here we are. I'll skip the boring parts you don't want to hear about, and get right to it. I went to his place and it didn't take long before we were all over each other. We started making out on his couch. He's an amazing kisser. Then he picked me up as if I weighed nothing and carried me to his bedroom. I think it's so hot that he can just take control like that, and he's so big that it is easy for him. When he took off my dress he saw I was wearing this lacy black lingerie I bought last year for him. He loved that and was taking his time admiring how my SS looked in them in his big bedroom mirror. I felt his big hands all over my body. I just closed my eyes and moaned as I moved my hands up his broad muscular back. I heard him moan in approval as he moved between my legs and felt me already soaking through my peenties. He stripped me and tossed me into the bed. I wanted to feel him inside me so bad, but he took his time. First kissing me, then kissing his way down my body until he was between my legs. He eats me out so good, but he took his time here as well. I felt his lips kissing around my freshly shaved wimp, getting closer but still not touching my wimp yet. Then he slowly took his index finger and traced around my labia. I'm not even sure how to describe what he was doing. It was driving me crazy. I wanted him so bad, but he moved slowly. I moaned as I felt his breath on my wimp, but he was holding back. He kept kissing my inner thigh as his finger moved between and around my wimp. His lips brushed my CLT and for a moment I thought he was finally going to eat me out, but he didn't. I was lost in lust. I'm sure he was loving every second of it. I can't tell you how long he did it, but as soon as I felt his mouth on me I knew I was going to CM hard. It usually takes a lot of CLT stimulation to have an org small. Most guys can't make me CM once, but I was so worked up I think I climaxed within a minute of him starting to eat me out. It was so intense I moaned so loud and had to push him away. My body was shaking, head spinning, and I was breathing so hard like I had just run a marathon. Then I look up and see this hot guy, mouth glistening with my juices, broad shoulders, strong arms, and a big bulge as he is wearing nothing but skin-tight boxer briefs. I gathered myself and now it was my turn to take control. I sat straight up and kissed him, tasting my wimp on his lips, as I rubbed his big bulge, feeling it get harder in my hands. I pushed him down on the bed, and he happily obliged because he's too big for me to toss around on my own, and pulled his boxers down to reveal his big beautiful pee-pee. Big, but not too long. So thick my fingers can just barely wrap around it. A slight curve up that makes it perfectly angled to hit the right spots. A couple bulging veins that make it look so powerful. Cut, with a big beautiful pee-pee head. I usually prefer uncircumcised guys, but his pee-pee really is beautiful, and gets so hard. It looks like a pee-pee you'd see in adult films. And he keeps his hair nice and trimmed, which makes oral easier to manage. I'd like to tell you I had the patience to tease him and get him worked up the way that he did to me, but as soon as my lips kissed the tip I was all over him. Licking and sucking him up and down. He's one of a few guys I've been with that I can't deep throat. He's too big for that, but he loves it when I suck the tip of his pee-pee while I stroke him at the same time. He had taken his time going down on me, but I didn't take long giving him oral. Maybe I'm greedy, because I could feel that big pee-pee throbbing in my mouth and my wimp throbbing between my legs and knew I needed it. Now. I got on top of him and rubbed my wimp up and down his pee-pee, getting him ready to enter me. Then I grabbed him and slid it between my wimp lips. I felt my body opening up, stretching around his girth as I lowered my hips down onto him until I felt him bottom out. Oh my god, he felt so incredible. The first time in months I had a pee-pee this big inside me. A mixture of pain turning into pleasure that you just have to experience to understand. I grabbed his wrists and placed his hands on my SS, then held onto his chest as I rode him. He let me take the lead at first. I love moving my hips back and forth while riding him. I was moaning as I felt him filling me up. At first it was just me moving and grinding, and then I felt him thrusting up into me as my hips moved backwards. I moaned so loud the first time. Our movements were in sync. I came so hard I cried out and SHK, nearly collapsing onto his chest. Now it was his turn to take control. He pushed me off of him and then flipped me over so I was laying on my stomach. He placed a pillow under my hip so my SS was slightly elevated, then teased my wimp with his thick pee-pee. He kept asking me how badly I wanted him to F me, how much I love his pee-pee, and made me tell him over and over how big it was until I was practically begging him to F me. His cool confidence makes him such a SI dom. He's not over the top or aggressive, but fully in control in a way that makes me want to be such a good girl for him. I cried out as he thrust forward and filled me with his big pee-pee. I can't even tell you how long he F'd me in that position. He loves to F me prone, and it feels so good. He started by effing me at a consistent pace that felt like every thrust built on the last. I was moaning so much. Then he changes speeds, effing me hard, then slow while kissing me and whispering how SI I am, then effing me hard again until I want to scream. He does this one thing where he places his hands just above my hips and pushes down that feels amazing as he Fs me hard. This went on for so long I completely lost track of time. It felt so good, but I didn't see M. It was prolonged, heightened pleasure. Finally he slid his hand around the front and in between my legs to rub my CLT as he F'd me. Combined with the extended effing, the CLT stimulation pushed me over the edge and I moaned loud into the pillow. He flipped me around, kissed my nipples, and spread my legs to keep effing me. He spread them wide and pushed them back so my hips raised as he entered me. Thank you years of yoga. He felt so deep and I can feel that curve hitting all the right spots. There was no playing around anymore. He F'd me hard while I was pinned down until he finally grunted and I felt his thick PP swell and fill me with CM. He laid down and I crawled under his big arm to rest my head on his chest. We lay together for a while before getting up and cleaning up. We were both wiped out after effing for close to 2 hours, but less than 30 minutes later as we were laying in his bed about to pass out I felt his hands moving on my body and his PP getting hard again. We F'd one more time that night and then again in the morning. I waited 4 months to be F'd like that again and he didn't disappoint. Upvote 12 downvote 2 comments share.